no gold is not enough.
Welcome guys, welcome to this video. So in the last video we saw the example of array, and there are types of arrays we use when we deal with the data. And when you be working with websites, you will be seeing a lot of type of data, different kind of data coming from different database tables. You will have to arrange that data using loop through all those queries. So here I have an example. So I have the indexed array and associative array, as well as the multidimension array, and I'm going to explain to you how this data affects when you work on a project where you deal with data. Now, indexed array, we generally, so far in the tutorials, we use this array. We simply say the names or the values, and we set it to a single variable. Now you will see this array something like this, the way it is defined here, or it might look like this as well. So you can have values like this too. So players can define here and define. And these two arrays are generally equals to this. So what we are saying, okay, we have index of 0 and the value of Roger. So if I want to print the value of these users, and I want to print the first user, so I simply say okay. So I say echo, and I'm going to put player, and I'm going to provide the index, and it is going to give me the value from that particular array. So I'm going to save this and go here in the browser and refresh. So we get Roger. Now if I have to print the value of Mark, which is index 1, so I will be putting 1. So we go to browser, refresh, we get Mark. So that's working just fine how it's supposed to work. So now if I go to the other example, is the associative array. Now you might say, what is the usage of associative array? Now you can see here we have users variable where I'm passing name, age, and gender. So by itself, a single array doesn't make a lot of sense. What we are doing here, we just have some data about some user, and we are putting into variable. Now what if we have data about, for example, different players? So you can see here in this case we have data of different people. So for example, if you're working on an application, let's say it's a university application, and you have a lot of students data, you know their student name, their age, their gender, maybe their roll number, and all that, you are going to get data something like this. So you won't be getting data like this, that 0 and the name, but you'll be getting like this. So in this case, if you want to print the data, you will be printing something like print _r, and if I print users, now currently we are going to get only one user's data, which is Andrew. So let's have a look. So refresh. So we get it's too big, I think. So it's Andrew, age 19, and male. Now if I want to get the data for all the users, I can put inside like this. And now in this case we are going to get the values for all the users. Now the point is, when you be associative arrays is an array where we are going to use data, instead of index we can provide a key. So for example, I'm going to comment these two, and let's say in your program you want to show the age of the user, or you want to verify if the user is more than 18 years of age or not. So you simply say, so in that case we say user, and then we can pass here age. So now when I go here and refresh, we get the age 19. Now you can do some kind of condition here. So for example, here I say if. So I'm just going to give you an example like how real world applications work. So if more than 18, then we say echo you are allowed, and else we can say simply I'm gonna put this, and whatever it might be, you are allowed or you're not allowed, simply. So I'm just gonna comment this out. All right, so we are checking the age if user is more than 18, so it's going to give us you are allowed. So this is something you might want to, you might have a list of 1,000 users and you want to check, you will be looping through in associative array, you will be getting value using that particular key, which is here, age, and that data can be any kind. So associative array is something where we are not using index, we have the option to use key, and we are going to get this. Now we will be seeing the examples where you'll be setting the values. For example, if I say here we have users, so I'm just gonna copy this, so user, and I'm going to say alright, so we are setting the values. In this case you might want to set the values from a form where you'll be setting a name, and then you'll be setting the value equal to anything that you want to. You can set it to Smith or anything. So you get the point that we can set the values. We might have here a ton of data. It can be age, it can be gender, it can be ID, or maybe it can be employee ID, it can be anything. So we will be dealing with the examples when we come across something like this. So associative arrays are very useful, so you should have the understanding. So this is the second type of array you'll be seeing. And now let's see the example. I'm going to comment this code, and this code is available for download. You can download from description, the link is there. Now here I'm going to show you the example of multi-dimension array. It is also very widely used when we deal with programs. So you can see here users, and we have Jack, James, and then we have an array, and which is Roger and Andrew. So here now you might say why we are using it this way. So we might have a detail of user, and you want to set up something like this. So I say user, and because currently we are passing an array here, so if you want to print, so I say print underscore r, and I say $users, and the index of this is going to be 0, 1, and 2. So pass 2. So let's see what we get here. We refresh, and we get Roger and an array. It prints the array. Now, so you might have multiple data here. You can loop through that data for that particular index. Now, the usage in real-world application when you be working on arrays, and why and how multi-dimension array will affect, is something like, for example, I create a variable here. So I say user, and I say okay, username is, well, we can simply say Roger, and then we are going to say age is 29, and then we are going to say okay, interests, for example. So we can put here interests. So interest can be soccer and coding, or it can be gardening. All right, it can be anything. So you might have that, and you then have more data, joining date, or maybe, so maybe like 1/12/2020. So you have a date here. Now this is something you can see here. We have a detail of a user. Now if we want to see the hobbies for that particular user, we can put it into a single array and can display and use it whenever we want. Now you will when you see something like this, you're generally going to see data something in this form. So for example, here it's going to be name, and then we're going to get the age. So you'll be getting data from database, something like this in real world application. So this makes, I hope this makes sense when we are dealing with the data of a user. Like when you go to purchase something from Amazon or eBay, you'll create an account, you put your or Facebook, you put details, they store data something like this. So where for example, hobby is something we cannot create again and again, we will put it into a particular category and we create a particular array for it, and that's how it works. I don't want to make it too much complicated at this point. I hope you got the understanding. If you have any confusion, you can add into comments. I will leave this code into the description so you can try yourself. I hope you got the understanding with this. So thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Goodbye.
And our goal is not in her.